Wow. Good morning. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm doing well. Lots of exciting inspiration bubbling in me this morning. And I wanted to do something fun with you guys all and see if it resonates in you and maybe gets you thinking a little bit more in a new perspective. I love building new perspectives on reality for people and getting them to think. So the title is today, what if you are an infinite being that's living a human experience? So first, what does that mean? An infinite being. Well, the simplest way to say it is you're a soul. All of us in humanity seem to generally accept that we all have a soul, and it comes into our body at conception and leaves our body upon death. Okay, pretty simple stuff. I think that's pretty standard par for the course for most people's understanding. It varies with religion and all these kind of things. So where does that soul go afterwards? It goes to heaven. Well, it's living a heavenly experience, so isn't that an infinite experience? Well, what if we just shifted that a little bit and say, okay, you go back to heaven, but you come back and learn other lessons in other lives? Why would a soul just blip out and be gone? So imagine if that soul, each time it comes into a human body, has a lesson, a journey. Good morning, Shaza. Thank you for joining. But it comes and it has a lesson. It's like, okay, I'm going to have a human experience of having children or being a father or being a warrior or being a actor or musician or whatever. Now, imagine if it wasn't just about the experience, it was more about refining and testing and figuring out who you are as a person. So, are you a good person? Are you a bad person? Like, these are judgments, but do you generally help people and love and shine them? Or do you harm people and want to take advantage of them or be successful at all costs? Being an infinite being and being part of the source or the collective or wherever we go back to when we exit a body is really what kind of defines us or makes us evolve as a soul. So imagine that before you come, it's a very coveted place to come here and have a 3D human experience among souls. Imagine you come and you say, okay, I'm going to design an experience that helps me learn compassion or helps me learn unconditional love or helps me learn what the difference is between being dark and light and how that feels and how fear feels like, how joy feels like, how pleasure feels like. All these different things are hugely in the range of a human experience. So you basically, before you even come here, you decide and agree with a bunch of other souls that are coming back to share experiences. That could be your potential spouse or partner or friends or your children, and you set this all out beforehand and you live through an experience. Now, when we choose our parents, we choose some of their understandings and their learnings and we participate in their lessons as well. So we end up getting taught or programmed a little bit as we're growing up with that stuff of our parents. So we have that stuff to clean up as well, because basically once those contracts go into place or whatever, they kind of stick with us in our genetic lineage. And if we choose a parent, we're going to have to clean up some of their stuff in the journey of cleaning up our stuff. So we get in this experience, and sometimes they can be really intense, especially in this incarnation where we're choosing traumas and we're choosing fear and doubt and great confusion in the world. We end up tied into an experience that feels really, really, really real because it's in a 3D body and there's density and there's tightness in our chest and we're chasing to find love, but we're not finding it. It all has hooks and expectations on it. So now just imagine that. How does it change your mindset a little bit when you start to become aware that maybe you chose some of this stuff? It's ugly, it's messy, but some of these things, and I hope you can all admit it, some things that were dark perceived at one point in our life might actually be the very thing that kind of rallied us to stand up for ourselves, or take our power back, or get angry, or get violent, or whatever was required for your power to come back and to stand up. So then we're walking around in this human experience, having a lot of density projected on us through programming and media and religion and government and all this kind of stuff. And now we're this soul that's rising up and finding a way, despite all this density creating crap that's around us, we're still shining. We find a chance to smile, and we be nice to people when people haven't been nice to us, etc. And literally we're now in a shared reality where the density is very low, and we are choosing to be the higher density, the vibration that breaks it all, the example that shows other people that there's a better way. And those of us that chose to be leaders, to shine, to stand up and speak about it, we've had some pretty freaking dense experiences. We've had to experience in our life something similar before we can share a vibrational alignment with other people and explain, I've had that, I felt that, this was awful, this felt bad, look at this trauma, look at how I was destroyed, look at how it stole my confidence, all these things. I'm just reading what Shaz has posted. Exactly this, Paul. I know I've chosen all I did, like so many others have, to realize it's all about the love we hold within. So beautiful, and I agree with that 100%. So now what happens if we say, I chose this, I'm not a victim? Hello, Kathy, thank you for the wave. I'm not a victim, I chose this. This is the fire that's tempering and testing my metal, turning my gold from contaminated, non-pure to pure. All the dross is bubbling off the top as I melt down and I feel destroyed, and I challenge every aspect of who I am. This is the human experience. This is the beauty of a soul that's infinite, that keeps coming back, that's a part of God. And we can even layer on top of this, and this might blow people's brains or whatever, but we don't even realize it, but we're living out every possible choice. That's what the multiverse is. So we can get into a big explanation. They show it in videos in Hollywood nowadays, but the multiverse is every yes-no decision, every choice, every anger, every not anger, every curl up in a ball. We live out a version of that. That creates timelines, or the tree of life. And the biggest thing that a soul wants to do is expand possibility, expand and live out every possibility and see what happens, see what the outcome is, see the good, see the bad. And I don't like to use those words, but we all go through variations of density, and it's part of being a human in these experiences. Shazza says, the fire we all hold to become the best version. Exactly. So can you imagine how much fire, if you want to be the most fabulous version of yourself, do you think you get that by living an experience of all joy and fun and play and everything works out? No, it's the contrast, the stuff that just smashes our forehead into the pavement sometimes is the thing that says, I'm not going to do that again, or holy crap, I did that, I should have worn a helmet, or whatever. That is the daily experience. We all live in this world where it programs you to be a victim, and I can't help this is me, and it always keeps happening, and I don't know what to do with it, and it's awful, and blah, blah, blah. And we just sit there in a pile of our own shit. Instead, what we need to do is say, holy crap, I'm making a choice. I'm not going to be this way. I'm not going to be like that other person. I'm not going to be petty. I'm not going to not have a conversation. I'm not going to pretend to be okay, but actually not be and hate myself afterwards. So being an infinite being brings us into this beautiful place where if we accept what's happening and we start to make a choice that's different and say, why is this happening for me? What am I learning from this? Rather than saying, fuck, that's happening again and it's so awful and woe me or whatever. No, this is the fire that you created. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Sometimes when things aren't working out and you feel like you've friggin' smashed your head against the wall, it's yourself loving yourself over and over and over again and just smashing you with little things till eventually you get aware or fall into a pit of your darkest night of the soul and finally just blither at the end and say, I give up, I'm not holding on to anything, is where you will get your most freedom. You will all of a sudden let go of all these old beliefs that challenged you and destroyed you, and all of a sudden they no longer define you, and all of a sudden this massive breakthrough will happen. That is the stuff that's happening to us. Failed relationships, friends that are attacking us. Right now we're feeling huge because everybody's trying to work through their shit right now, and it's all for you to learn from. I'm standing in my power. I will not let you talk to me like that. I am stepping away. I don't want you in my life anymore. Goodbye. And it's got this beautiful end. And when that beautiful end comes, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is a real secret, it's a brain popper, but the loudest response to somebody that's attacking you and trying to steal your energy is no response at all. They will go batshit crazy trying to figure out why you didn't respond and put a story around it and blame and whatever. And it's exactly sometimes what they need, because there's no energy coming back. There's no power coming back. Or you can even just put a smiley face, but I'll tell you the silence is even better. The smiley face to a negative thing or whatever, it will frickin' blow them off the top. And then just use the block button. It makes it really easy, and they can vent and squeal and scream. And maybe in 10 years, they'll come back and say, frick, that was powerful. Thank God you did that, because I would have probably done something horrible. But that's the experience of being human, being an infinite being. You are now tuning yourself to a highest vibration of who a soul can be, a part of God. If you don't like that word, a part of source, a part of whatever, but you start to realize that everything is joyously an experience that you're participating in for you, for everyone. Right now we're seeing a massive collective experience where a lot of shit is bubbling up through a lot of people, and we're clearing shit that's not even for ourselves, because we're an infinite being, because we have that awareness, because we are aware enough to help the people that are lost and programmed and stuff to finally realize and take a better path. Sometimes that's by example. Sometimes it's just us taking it inside, transmuting it, or sending it to the sun for it to be transmuted, and amazing stuff happens. Thank you for all your notes there. Yes, we've all been stuck in the shit. I'm almost 52 years old right now, and I look back at my life and it's like, holy shit, look at all these things that I screwed up or could have done better at. They were all perfect at the time. They were all from a consciousness and awareness and a bunch of programming that I had absolutely no control over. And if I accept that those things happened for a reason, and then go in and not label it or myself with it, and just start to say, holy crap, look at what I had. Look at what I saw before. Look at my beliefs, and now how are they different? And now how can I be different? I used to think I wasn't worthy of having women in my life or attractive women and all this kind of stuff. And it was just a story that I told myself to make up this stuff. I had a whole bunch of wounding from my mother in my past, and it came out in all the women. And until I healed that part of me and let go of all that kind of stuff, I couldn't even draw in women that were attracted. It was just women that wanted to resonate with my mommy issues. But now I'm aware. I'm not smashed by it. I'm humbled by it, to say, holy crap, that was a choice I made as an infant, and I didn't even know I was making it to fix my mommy and other things. We as infinite beings get locked into these things when we're completely unaware, and then we live a whole life just blocked by this belief. So now I move through it. I love it. It's me. I know I'm worthy of anyone. I want to be worthy of someone that's the same vibration as me and shines the same light and all this kind of stuff. And now I'm finally at a point where I can say, yeah, that's what I deserve. That's what my self-worth requires. I don't need to have work in every relationship. I have love. I have unconditional love. I'm exploring new, and I'm allowing the possibility of something that I label more normal. And trust me, relationships are the most screwed up thing in this world on all sides, because everybody has self-worth issues and other things. So as an infinite being, what are we doing? How are we using these trauma events, these hard events, these energetic things that are smashing us open, and using them to refine ourselves, to purify ourselves, to make us into that 99.999% gold or silver or whatever precious metal you are, using those things to polish ourselves, to, I don't know how much you know, but steel just burned. It needs to be tempered. It needs to be cooled down and made hot and cooled down, or else it becomes fragile and it shatters into a million pieces. We're not shattering into a million pieces. We are purifying ourselves. That infinite soul may be here for other experiences. Maybe this is your last incarnation, but we are here in the most grand moment of humanity, of living souls, of being a 3D being, to see all those energies transcend, all that old crap that maybe we were a part of in past lives. Here's another one that'll rock your noodle. When you watch a movie like King Arthur or something, and you have these flashbacks in the middle of the movie of experiences that look just like it, or was all that old time, but that was actually you. Some of that is bleeding through. It's you in your infinite experiences. How many times do you have those little deja vu experiences? Like, I've had that, or a flash of a past life. Or I remember looking down at my feet and I saw these like black shoes with big square buckles like the French Revolution, and having this fear come in. Like, this is the infinite soul. Those little clues are telling you. How many times have you met a person and you just know that you know them, you can trust them instantly? That's a soul mate. That's a person that's been in past experiences, had soul contracts with you. You work through some deep, dark shit, and you know what their soul is. It's not a young soul. It's a mature soul, somebody that you can trust, that's going to not hang you out in the fire. This is all evidence of an infinite being, that we are an infinite being. And when you start understanding or being aware that you're an infinite being, you stop living in a human 3D kind of way. You look at the bigger picture. You look into the souls of people. You see what they're doing. You know their truth. You know when they're lying. You know all this kind of stuff. You're not just programmed with all this crap from the world. You're going and sifting through it and saying, is this my truth? Is this not my truth? Why does this feel good? Why does this feel bad? This is a soul that's now an infinite being, taking every juicy minute of this experience and squeezing out the things. Okay, this is how people react. This is how this person is. Oh, I'm standing my boundaries this time. I'm grounding better this time. I'm not going into my trigger. I'm not hitting somebody, or I'm not destroying people. Yeah, these are the awarenesses of an infinite being. And once you stand in that space, you are so fucking powerful. You are the light. You are God. You are source. And if we take that into our everyday practice and start to not get destroyed by it, you start to realize that this is the pressure on my chest that's forcing me to make a choice, forcing me to better decisions, forcing me to better outlook of myself, forcing me to more love. And then you just kind of squeeze out of the 3D body and you become your 5D self. And this beautiful, glorious transition is what we're all working for, is to get out of all the programming, the millions of lines of code that says I'm not worthy from church and religion and parents and grandparents and friends and past lovers. You are more. You are stepping out. No matter what experience you've had, you are ready for better. Then everything changes. Everything is shining. Thank you, Shaza. Yes, we've all met many beautiful connections with others that we can't explain in this lifetime. Just like, holy crap, I love you, or I like you, or whatever. But at least now you're recognizing that there's a deeper soul knowing. And once we start going into that, you're going to find out there's a piece of us inside that can survive anything, that is ready. I should be dead by now with the amount of crap that's happened in my life and the number of times I've been beaten down and destroyed and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not. Because I'm that infinite soul that knows I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to shine light, to lead by example, to speak from my experience, and help others find their own way. I can't teach it to people or whatever. I can speak about it all the time, and people are going to go, oh, that feels right. Oh, that feels good in my soul. Oh, I don't believe him. He's full of crap or whatever. Beautiful. Oh, I own it all. But my experience doesn't have to be your experience, etc. But the infinite soul is leading by example, giving an option, giving a new perspective on reality. And that's what I love to do, and that's why I do these lives. So look inside. How does this change your perspective on yourself? Is your life hard, or is it teaching you? Oh, once you got that self-responsibility and you take accountability for what's going on, the world is your oyster. You are massive, amazing, and beautiful. And I believe you all are. So just a new perspective. Shine with it. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Keep shining, keep viewing. Put some notes on the bottom if you got some experiences. We need to share that with others. Love you.